Welcome to 45 minutes of pure unadulterated bullshit. It's VMC, the only podcast that, just like Gabe Newell, does not know how to count to three. My name's Clay Cooper, and this is, what's your name again?
Memphis.
Yeah, that guy. Alright then. How you doing today, buddy? Doing alright?
I'm doing just fine. How are you?
Man, that disappoints me. I'm doing fantastic. Let's start this thing. So, let's start things off with a bit of washy-washy. Some Asians beat the shit out of some electronics the other day. You want to expand on that for the kind viewers at home?
Sure. Well, some high-up executives at LG are indicted on a charge of deliberately damaging Samsung electronics. Washing machines, basically. Escalating the feud between South Korea's top consumer electronic companies.
I just want everybody to know that some guys from LG literally went out to a Costco and damaged some washing machines. Like, that'll show those bastards at Samsung.
Well, basically what they did, alright, is they deliberately damaged Samsung washers at retail stores in Germany. Alright, keep in mind that this is in Germany, alright?
So it's an IKEA. Wait, that's Sweden. Shit.
Yeah. Basically, they went in there and they were beating up some washing machines, and of course they did pay for the damages. But Samsung filed a complaint against LG, and that made them kind of pissed off. So they went in and came up with a story, apparently, that Samsung stole some OLED backlit displays from LG, and now they're fighting over paid little shit, you know.
Now, LG, like this demonstrates something about LG. This is why I don't buy a whole lot of LG stuff. They literally went out, damaged some washing machines at a German Costco or whatever, and then said, they hit me first! Like, LG executives, if you're listening, I hope you are, because that means I have fans, but if you're listening, grow up. That's all I ask. Just grow up. And don't be so awful.
Well, I mean, when it comes to that front with LG, alright, you notice that, I mean, I could understand, you know, maybe if this was somebody that worked there and, you know, had a stake in that company, you know, that they wanted to bring them down a little bit, but you got to keep in mind that
bring them down a little bit. Jeremy, who works the counter on Tuesdays, he's gonna really stick a thorn in Samsung's side. I'm gonna beat the shit out of some washing machines.
Well, yeah, I mean,
this is what you get for selling me an effective Blu-ray player.
Yeah, it's not even that, though, right? I mean, we're talking about high-up executives that were probably there on a business trip that just walked in there and started damaging Samsung appliances.
Did they even mention how they were damaged? Like, did they just walk in with baseball bats and go, fuck you, washing machine? Or did they, like, mess with the coding in, like, the automated...
They physically damaged them.
That was racist. I apologize.
I apologize on his behalf for all this racism that is... Yeah.
Fuck you,
yeah,
I already apologized.
Yeah, but, you know, I mean, that's basically like saying... That's like, you know, two of the biggest companies that are currently... Well, I mean, in the world, you know? Because, I mean, if you want a computer, you got to go to either of these places, right? Intel and AMD, right? That's like somebody from Intel walking into a store and putting a nail in one of the fans in an AMD computer, you know? It's like, yeah. And trying to pass it off and saying it was like that already. You know, I mean, that it's just not going to work out. I mean, I can understand, you know, you would expect this type of behavior out of, like, you know, a fourth grader, all right? I mean, you brought up the whole thing earlier that, you know, this is basically like saying, yeah, they hit me first, you know, but
Like, I'm sorry, LG, that you shit your pants because, Samsung stole some stuff from you. I don't even think they stole anything. I honestly think that some LG executives were, like, on a business meeting, and they were like, oh, shit, guys, I gotta get milk on the way home, and they're just like, all right, Todd, whatever, stop at this Costco. And they went in there, they saw some Samsung washing machines, and they're like, you guys want to do something dubious? And they were like, indeed! Like, and even if they did, LG, I'm sorry Samsung shit your drawers for you, but you didn't have to add to the mess.
Yep.
But, yeah, not much to say on this topic. Samsung didn't deserve it. I feel for you, Samsung. Washergate, 2014.
Yeah, speaking of that, why is everything recently being called Gate? You know what I mean? Like, with the iPhone bending, it was Bendgate, you know? I mean, when it comes to a lot of things, it's just suddenly Gate.
You got Gamergate, which was a pun on Watergate, and ever since Gamergate, it's been... Okay, you got Anita Sarkeesian and her army of vaginas and white knights on one side of the equation. And they're just like, massaging video games. And then you got Vivian James and V and every neckbeard on the planet going, Arrgh! and this is just, and it's a decided debate on whether or not, video games should have a code of conduct. And if, like, you'll see the people with the shirts that say, it's about ethics in video game journalism. Yeah, maybe that's how it started, but at this point, like I don't side with either. I'm kind of pro Gamergate just because I'm pro Gamergate in the I stand with JonTron sense. I'm for ethics in video game journalism. I'm for Angry Joe having to follow some rules every time he writes a review. So, I don't know, we don't have another Zoe Quinn fiasco where, some game developer sucks a guy's dick and they get super good scores on their game. But, here's the thing. At this point, it's just, you have feminist side that wants to call you a misogynist for being white and male, and then you have the neckbeards on the other side who are just like big tits and gaming are A-okay. And either way, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty pro. I'm pro-neutral, like neutral gate. Hashtag neutral gate. Spread the word. Or don't.
Yep.
Stay neutral, my friends. But yeah, it's just a pun on the Watergate scandal.
Huh, that's interesting.
Nixon Gate. Podcast Gate. Gate.
Bill Gates Gate.
Bill Gate. But yeah, it's just a pun on the Watergate scandal. It's like, it's nothing magical. Want to move on to the next topic?
Sure.
Alright. So, Steve Jobs came back from the dead as one of those cars from the movie Cars, with the eyes. I'm just kidding. Apple's making a car.
Alright. Following a report today that Apple was hiring experts from the automotive industry.
Experts. Kids who need driver's license.
The Wall Street Journal adds to a story claiming Apple has several hundred employees working on an Apple-branded electric car.
So basically, they just saw what Tesla was doing, and we were like, we can put an iPhone in the dash.
Basically.
We can totally put an iPhone in the dash.
I'm pretty sure that's just about exactly what happened.
What besides that? No windows of it. Yeah. Yay, joke, yay! Yeah, no windows on the Apple car.
Microsoft should really make a car. That would go well.
Oh, man. Man, the Bill Gates mobile. The Gate mobile, it'd be great.
Well, yeah, Bill Gates was officially named the richest person on Earth for many, many years, and I mean, he still is.
Donald Trump and one other kind individual are all juggling it. I don't know. It's probably one of the Rothschilds. They got a lot of money.
Nah. Well, apparently he's worth like $79 billion or something like that. You know. So I mean, don't quote me on that, but apparently
he owns more than $79 billion.
No, that's his net worth.
Oh, net worth. Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying now. Sorry. That was a miscommunication on my end. I apologize for my ignorance at home. Please forgive me. Also donate to my Patreon. That'd be kindly appreciated. It keeps the show going. No, it doesn't. I spend it all on weed.
Alright, the report adds that CEO Tom Cook approved the project close to a year ago, with product design Vice President Steve Zadisky, a former Ford executive, leading the group. The news lines up with rumors that Apple is working on something that will give Tesla a run for its money.
Tesla?
Yep.
You mean Tesla, sir?
But, yeah, mispronunciation.
Yeah. I don't know about that, friends. The engine in a Tesla is the size of a watermelon. It can go for 250 miles on a single charge.
Well, yeah, the electric motor may be the size of that, but the battery, on the other hand, is...
It's a bit bigger.
Yeah, the battery is 90% of the car. You know how there's, like, space up underneath them aluminum panels on your car? Yeah, on Tesla's electric car, there's not, because there's a battery there. So, yeah.
Driving around in my solar vehicular automobile.
Well, that's the future, yeah, but, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. That seems like I don't know. Though, I do like the idea of the Apple Titan, because this would technically mean I not only get an Apple minivan, I get a electric Apple minivan. And that means I never have to spend a dime on it. Okay, let's face it. They're gonna hire their marketing department to deal with it, and you're gonna have to pay microtransactions, or else the battery won't charge. That's how this will end. What's that game that we were discussing the last episode, where EA was making people pay for gas in the game?
I don't know. What was it? Do you remember? I don't remember.
Like, wasn't it like that? What was it? It was like the new Forenza game.
No, I want to say it was like. I can't think of it.
Yeah.
I might be able to, but.
Oh man, I feel like an idiot now. But yeah, if anybody knows the name of that, write it down below in the comments. But yeah, you know, that game with the EA microtransactions. We see you would like to buy 6 energy gallons. That will be $72.85. Thank you for using Apple Motors. We own you now. You bet, Apple. You bet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I feel alright about it. It's not a bad idea. It's not the best idea in the world. But yeah, it's not awful. What do you think of the Apple car?
Honestly, I don't know how good it can be, because, I mean, I don't know what they're going to be using, for energy, what type of motor they're going to be using, what type of battery banks they're going to be using, or anything of that nature. If the product ever goes live, I mean, this is all rumored, most of it anyway, but.
Yeah. So you don't feel very strongly about the Apple car?
Not particularly.
That sounds, I don't know, like, I feel like the electric car industry, like ever since the Tesla Model S came out, everybody's trying to get in on that, because, I mean, like, here's the thing, when hybrid cars like the Prius came out, everybody laughed and called it, I mean, here's the thing about a Prius, okay, like, one, if driving a Hummer means you're compensating for something, then driving a Prius means that you're very comfortable.
That it does.
Driving a Tesla Model S means that your name's either Tyrese, Tyrone, or Jerome, I apologize. that was racist as hell.
Yeah.
I don't care. Sue me. But yeah, I don't know, like, I don't know how to feel about the electric car industry, because, I mean, with the hybrids, I felt very meh about the hybrids, because the hybrids were just, I mean, you're saving me gas, but you're not getting me anywhere, like, okay, just because you're saving me money doesn't mean that I'm going just as far, like, because, okay, to be honest, let's all face it, you can't go as far on a gallon of gas in a Prius as you can a gallon of gas in, like, a 2006 Toyota, like,
Well, I mean, you see, the interesting thing about Priuses, alright, is that when you fill them up with gas, the alternators, as they turn, recharges the battery bank, alright? Therefore, none of it is wasted, as it is in common cars. The electricity that can be generated off of it for a little bit extra power, or a little bit extra, moving off the engine, is phenomenally large amounts, alright? When, normal cars don't use that for anything other than, powering stuff like the radio, cigarette lighter, charger for your phone, they don't use that. While the electric hybrids, alright, when the battery goes dead, you can just turn on the gas engine, run it for a few hours, and when you run out of gas, you got enough battery charge to run you, 50, 60 extra miles,
Yeah, I mean, like, they're better, like, if you want to put it in that perspective, yeah. But, like, I also look at the price tag for a Prius, like the price tag for, any other regular, it runs on gas car in the market.
True.
Now, the Tesla Model S, I don't even like to talk about the Tesla Model S because it's such a magical space mobile. Okay, like, it's a rocket ship on wheels, and you can't convince me otherwise, okay? But even though it glows and it's magical and it's proof Jesus didn't die in vain, its price tag is $200,000. Now,
true.
Now, I don't know about you, but that's more than a common house. I'm gonna live in my Tesla Model S, apparently.
Well, yeah, you gotta think, though, that they put a lot of newer technologies in that, stuff that is quite expensive. Then, of course, they're charging an overhead for their own gain. Yeah,
okay, here's the thing. You can't make profit when nobody buys it because nobody has the money for your magic spaceship on wheels.
Well, yeah, it's targeted towards the, higher-end markets, if you know what I mean.
What higher-end market is there for like...
People with a lot of money.
I don't think Bill Gates drives a Model S.
Don't be sure.
Have you seen Bill Gates? Have you seen his face? I don't care what you say, okay? Just from the way Bill Gates looks, I can assure you he drives a freaking hummus.
Hummus.
She drives hummus. Oh. No, I'm not calling him a Jew, okay? That was not a Jew joke. I accidentally said Hummer and Prius.
They should make one of those.
Oh, hummus?
Yeah, Hummer and the Prius combined. You know, it's a big old truck.
Yeah, they call it the oxymoron.
You know, for the guy that wants to compensate for something but wants to be environmentally friendly while doing it.
You're not environmentally friendly in a hummus, okay? You're a jackass with too much money. You'd have to be Bill Gates to afford the hummus.
The one and only, the only one on this planet, the Hummer and Prius combined. The
hummus. You fucking moron. That would be the slogan.
Oh.
Don't think smarter. Don't think at all. Hummus. You fucking moron. Have you seen the size of them? The hummus isn't getting anywhere.
It isn't.
A battery ain't moving the hummus.
No, well, being that it's so much bigger, you can fit a lot bigger battery in it, though.
She's gonna need it.
It is. I'll give it that.
It's gonna get 5 miles on a full charge.
Yeah, and you thought gas was expensive. Wait until you see your electric bill this month.
But besides from fictional racist mobiles, I don't know. I like the idea of the electric car market. I do, because I want to save the Earth. I like the Earth. I don't want to go live on the moon.
Actually, they're sending people to Mars, apparently.
Ah, yes, Mars 1. Ah, yes. We're not getting on Mars 1. People like us don't deserve it.
Well, think about it this way, all right? You're gonna leave your entire life behind, your family. You'll never get to watch the end of what's a popular show? Think of a popular show.
You know,
Game of Thrones, all right? You'll never get to watch the final episode of Game of Thrones because you'll have to go to Mars.
I'm pretty sure they'll send you DVDs, but
no, DVDs way too much. Yeah, you see, they'll be their internet connection speed will be basically dial-up, basically. You know, I mean, it'll be sent across millions and millions of miles, but it'll be dial-up. I mean, you'll get on your big old computer and you'll press the button and you'll hear the dial tone will just go beep. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Well, I mean, it honestly, you know, being up there, you got to think that you're going to go up there and you're going to live the rest of your life there, you know, because, I mean, once you get up there, you're not going to be able to come back to Earth, you know?
Well, you could. I mean, like they probably wouldn't let you, but it's plausible.
No, it's not.
You could jump.
That's not going to do anything.
But yeah. How did we get from the Tesla Model S to Mars 1?
I don't know. Yeah, but you see, this is exactly what's going to happen, right? You're going to be there, and you're going to be like, oh, that'll be great, you know? I'm going to send an email to my friends, you know, and it's going to sound, it's going to be like this.
Well, I mean,
right?
like, here's the thing about the internet on Mars, okay? Like, believe it or not, like, the delay is only going to be about 20 minutes for data transfer. sound of it crashing in orbit.
No,
The second swooshing, it was it falling back to Earth after the second thruster exploded.
That's not nice, man.
The Challenger went down.
That's exactly what it would sound like, right? You would press this button on this big old fancy mainframe, and you'd think, "Oh, this thing looks enormous. You know, it should have great internet speeds." And you hear that, and it's just like your heart drops, and it's like, damn.
Well, by the time Mars 1 is up, we're gonna have like super satellites that are gonna boost everything, and everything's gonna be great, and everybody's gonna have that Google firmware internet, and everybody's gonna be happy. But yeah. Want to move on to the next topic?
Sure.
Yes. This will be... Okay. If we got any listeners in Brazil, can I ask a question? Just a nice little question. Why taxes? Why?
No.
Okay, so...
Well, maybe, but still no.
So, our good friends Nintendo, right? Our good friends Nintendo. They have decided to completely pull out of the Brazilian market. They are no longer selling... They are no longer selling the Wii U or any of said Nintendo products in Brazil because of the high tariffs on electronic goods in Brazil. Now I just want to give you guys the basic estimates for what that was costing for Nintendo, okay? So for the common Brazilian person, that is somebody who can't get around the tariffs. Okay. A Wii U would cost the equivalent of $800 in Brazil. For the same kind of Wii U you could get here in the United States of America for $300. Now,
so that's $800
for a Wii U.
Brazil. Yeah, where you could get it for $300 in America and in a lot of other countries.
Exactly. And this is due to the high tariffs or taxes placed on all electronic goods that come into Brazil.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, yeah, when you think about it, that's almost $500 worth of taxes on that one electronic console.
Exactly, and that's not accounting for things like video games. So,
you know, where the common video game may cost, for say, $60 in America, in U.S. dollars it may cost $60, but in Brazil it may cost, $120 for one video game.
Something like that. And that's not cool, dude. That's not cool, because you're going to get your... Well, okay, here's the saving grace of that. Even if you were Brazilian and you dropped the $800 to get yourself a Wii U, they can't do shit about the digital market. Like, if you don't have something physical to tax, you can't tax it for import.
Huh.
So,
that's interesting.
That's actually why a lot of the Brazilian market is mobile apps and free-to-play games like League of Legends, because if Brazil doesn't have something physical to point at and say that's the game or that's the thing, whatever, they can't very short and sweet, they can't tax it. Which is rather nice, because I feel bad for the good people of Brazil, because they can't play Smash Bros. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about our good friends Nintendo leaving Brazil?
Well, I mean, it got to the point where they were charging so much extra to the customer, alright, that they could no longer make any money off the product.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright.
Like,
so, I mean, what's the benefit of them selling there? You know?
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess that's the point. But, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure how I feel about Nintendo completely leaving, you know, Brazil, because they said they were still going to sell in Latin America, but...
Well, really, I heard rumors of them planning on setting up a plant in Brazil, because if you construct the consoles in Brazil, they're not subject to that import tax.
Exactly. And I mean, I feel like that would be the better option, because Nintendo leaving Brazil high and dry in video games. I mean, like, keep in mind, the Wii U is the cheapest of the systems in Brazil right now. A PlayStation 4 right now costs 3,999 reals, which is the equivalent to about $1,500 US. And the Xbox One costs close to $800 US.
Interesting. But, wait a minute, why does the Xbox One cost so much less?
I'm not quite sure. I guess they were like, we don't care about Brazil. I don't even think Brazil like, I can just see Bill Gates, and they're just like, all right, how much do you want to charge for the X-Bone in Brazil, sir? And he's like, I don't know, man. Do Brazilians even? I thought that was just the forest and whatnot. You know, there's people there. They're probably cavemen. Let's charge them. I don't know, how much does a stick cost? That's my Bill Gates impression. Drunk Iron Man. Drunk Iron Man Bill Gates. Sitting around on his high horse. I need more boobs and Xbox! And money!
Yeah, but...
Yeah. I mean, like, has this ever been documented before? Has anybody else pulled out of Brazil because of their taxes?
I don't know. That is the only major gaming manufacturer that I've heard of. Major, keep in mind, you know, Xbox, PlayStation, you know, stuff like that. But that is the only major one that I have heard of. And I am not sure of any other minor ones that might have. I mean, honestly, why is Brazil's import tax on electronics so high in the first place? You know?
I think Bill Gates is kind of half right. You know, good old drunk Iron Man Bill Gates. In that they don't know what a computer is, and they think that it's some magical device that people will spend an unlimited amount of money to get.
Well, I can agree there that there is no real reason to have it cost that much. I mean, you know, when you think about the fact that the import tax costs more than the product, alright, I mean, that's saying a little much there, you know? But...
yeah. We got one last topic to cover. Right here. This is just the forum bit from Linus Tech Tips, so keep in mind, take it with a grain of salt. Should we unplug our chargers at night? Memphis, explain this one to the kind folks at home.
Well, you see, a lot of people commonly think, you know, well, if I leave this plugged in, it's going to overcharge it, and it will be overall bad for the life of your phone, alright? And, I mean, that is true on any older chargers, alright? I mean, any modern smart charger trickle charges your devices, which is 1,000,000 times better for them than to just, you know, for the chargers to just continuously flow of electricity to it, you know, and I mean, that can sometimes have catastrophic events, such as the battery exploding, you know. I mean, that's, of course, older chargers, and I mean, older chargers. But, I mean, all right, I'm just going to read straight from the form here. All right. If you own a smartphone of any description, then you're probably familiar with seeing the battery warning level light flick on at some point during the evening. It's now become a standard practice for phones to be charged up at least once every 24 hours, and the easiest time to do that is overnight, when they're sat still doing nothing but waiting for the morning. Is this really the most sensible option, though? Are we causing permanent damage to our handsets by keeping them charged for much longer than they need to be? Assuming you get more than 2 hours of sleep each night, that is. And just how much unnecessary power is being drawn by our chargers while we're snoozing away oblivious?
I assume Linus Sebastian here is just saying what you need to do is get an iPhone charger, right? And strip it, and then stick motion pads in your shoe soles, and then you should walk around and charge your phone while you're jogging. I feel like he's going to try and say that that's a life hack, and I don't care if it's not Linus, okay? I want to make fun of this damn idea. Look, okay? As a consumer, okay? I'm just saying, as a consumer, I'm pretty sure my phone won't explode if Steve Jobs says my phone won't explode if I leave it plugged in, okay?
Well, you see, I mean, any smart charger nowadays, alright, you leave it plugged in, and once the phone is charged, alright, it sends back an electronic signal which tells the thing to trickle charge it. And I mean, it would be a lot better for it, if it was only charged, if it was charged fully, then left to decharge a little bit, then charge fully again, alright? But, I mean, you gotta understand that includes you manually unplugging the charger. Then when it hits, 90%, plugging it back in, I mean, there's no real point in it when it doesn't do any much more damage to it to just leave it plugged in and let it trickle charge.
Fair enough. I mean, that's essentially what I'm trying to get at this point. Because, I don't know, man. Like, is it bad to leave my phone plugged in at night? I use my phone as an alarm clock. I use my phone to, I don't know, tell me when to do stuff at night. You get what I'm saying here. I have a lot of alarms on my phone. If it's not charged by morning and ready to go, then I'm going to have to sit around in class and not check my phone. In what kind of world do I want to live in where that is an option? Not this one. Not this one at all. But yeah, I just don't see the harm in leaving it plugged in.
Well, I mean, there is really nothing there that is issue-prone. If anything, this is basically saying, there is no real reason on any newer-end phone, something that's not 5-10 years old, all right? Or, well, nothing is 10 years old in the ways of a real smart phone, Anything that's not really 5-6 years old, to just leave it plugged in, there wouldn't be any issue with that, because, I mean, the chargers automatically take care of it and trickle charge it. So long as, you have the charger either that came with your phone or a registered smart charger. Either way, that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, that's essentially the point I was trying to make. But yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's our show, ladies and gentlemen. I feel we're done here today. How about you, friend?
Dang, man. Dang.
I know, I'm sad too. I don't want to leave the moderately okay-looking people.
Alright, can we at least cover our favorite cartoons or something?
Why not? Why not, friend? I'm not your friend anymore after this. Oh no. Invader Zim came back recently. That's a good favorite cartoon of mine. So, it came back as a comic book. Well, it's not officially back yet, but the announcement's been made by Oni Press. And I was kind of ecstatic about that, because that gave me the magic. That gave me the magical feeling in my stomach that I could squee in delight and go down to my hot topic and avoid eye contact with the dude that stands behind the counter with all his piercings, and I can just buy my comics and read and ejaculate.
No.
Grr gets me off, friend. How about you?
No.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite cartoon?
Honestly, I'd have to go back to, just classical 1950s cartoons. The thing you would wake up on Saturday morning and watch. Yeah, sadly, in the 1950s, if the president was on, your night was screwed.
President. 1950s. That wasn't Nixon, I don't believe. That was
Nixon wasn't until the 70s, though. Yeah, but it was later in the 60s when the president started airing on TV. And you see, the thing is, all right, is kids would love to come home later at the night, and watch occasionally color TV if you were up in wealth, If not, you had a black and white television set there that weighed 250 pounds and you had to hand assemble.
Good old president. He probably showed up on the good old television.
Well, yeah, you see, you had like 5 channels to choose from. All right. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. And occasionally, later at night, 5 to 8 o'clock, they had cartoons on. But you see, that was the opportune time for the president to be on. So, if the president was on, he was on every channel, and your night was screwed.
I wonder what the president talked about.
Well, there were a lot of issues in the 1950s and 60s. If you recall, in 63, JFK was assassinated. So that was on the news for a while.
And the vice president would come in, he'd sit at his chair and be like, all right, guys, my boss just got shot in the goddamn head. I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. Free the slaves! We already did that, sir. Ah, shit. Oh, man, I'm not very good at my job.
Well, you see, according to all history, as soon as the president was declared dead, which was like 12 minutes after he was shot, surprisingly, he was sworn into presidency. And he remained in the presidency for the remainder of JFK's term, I believe.
Yep. Well, that was a random trivial fact.
Yeah, but, my favorite cartoons would be, stuff like the original Tom and Jerry, stuff like that, And I don't mean that new crap, I mean the original hand-drawn, multiple pictures a second animated stuff.
You're one of those assholes who thinks that Flash isn't real animation, aren't you?
Wait, which type of Flash?
The kind that runs fast, buddy.
Not necessarily. There's just a different tone to it, you know what I mean? You can tell when something has been computer animated and when something has been hand-drawn,
Yeah.
That's just my sight to it, I don't have an issue with the newer animated stuff, when it comes to the older stuff, I just prefer the older stuff.
Fair enough. Alright, I believe that's... Alright.
That's it, probably.
Alright, friends. That's odd. Anyway, this is my associate. What's your name again?
Memphis.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
This is VMC. Good night, folks.